To begin, please follow through the slides in the order that they appear. Please do not skip any slides, and please complete the task accordingly exactly to the directions provided. I will navigate you through each slide. Please do not skip ahead on any slides. The slides will advance automatically when the slide is complete. Please minimize all distractions in your environment by shutting off all music, TVs, or any other background noise, and please go to an isolated room away from others. We spend a lot of time thinking about the past or the future. We often don't think about what is right here, right now, going on in our lives. Instead, we are often worrying about things that have happened in the past or things that are going to happen in the future, maybe a future date that's coming up, thinking about someone in our life, maybe the way that we treated someone or they treated us, and often we're not focused on what is happening right now in our environment. So I want us to engage in a little activity together that will help you to kind of focus on the moment and bring you to be aware of your surroundings. So to begin, please sit comfortably in your chair and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and slowly release it. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your breath feels leaving your body. Notice how your body is touching the chair. Notice how it feels with each part touching the chair as you sink it deeper and deeper into the seat. Now I want you to continue to take 3 more deep breaths, slowly inhaling in and exhaling out. As you do this, shift your focus to the present moment. Notice the sounds in your environment, the noises in the room. If you have any thoughts that creep into your mind, simply acknowledge those thoughts and come back to the present moment. Noticing how your breath feels, how your body feels, the sounds in the room. Continue to feel your breath and notice any thoughts that you have. If you have any thoughts, imagine that they are on a leaf floating down a river and you are standing on a bank. Each thought that comes into your mind, place it on a leaf and watch it go by. If you jump into the river and go after that thought, slowly just bring your mind back and bring yourself back to the bank and watch those thoughts float by. So values are something that are intentional qualities that join together a string of moments into a meaningful path for your life. So they're not objects and they're not goals, but rather they're a life direction, things that are important to you that you want to move towards. So you can kind of think of horseshoes or values like horseshoes. So when you're playing horseshoes, you're standing there and you're throwing these horseshoes and you're trying to get the horseshoe to ring around the pole, to hook around the pole, or at least try close to it. And while you're getting hooking the pole for the best shot, and getting close is okay too, but think about a game of horseshoes like the values you have. Each horseshoe that you throw is trying to get you towards your values. Now often, like sometimes that happens when you're playing horseshoes, we tend to get mad when we miss the target. But even if you miss the target that you're aiming, you can still have a great game of horseshoes if you come close. So values are kind of the same way. You're not always going to hook them each time and hit them spot on, but there's something that you're continually working towards and moving in that direction. So now I want you to just think about your life right now, in this moment. How does your life look? Like in the game of horseshoes, are you working towards getting them hooked around the pole? Are you working towards the things that are important to you? Or do you find yourself drifting away from those things? Moving away from them? As you think about your life, I want you to think about your significant other, or a significant other you've had in the past. How does or how did this person add to your life? What types of activities did you do together with this person? How do these activities or things you engage in together make you feel? Does this person bring satisfaction in your life? How do you like spending time with this person? And how does this impact your life? Does engaging in these activities with this person help move you towards the things that you desire, that are important to you, towards those values that you have? What do you value about that particular person? Or about relationships in general? Why are they important to you? As you think about that, I want you to think about the concept of diffusion. So diffusion helps us to change the way in which we see or react to things. So there are many things in our life that we have control or power over us. The thoughts that we have, maybe they're very believable to us. They're things that we really hold true, things that we think that we have to do in order to be a good person, husband, boyfriend, friend, girlfriend, wife, whatever it may be. But diffusion helps us to change how those things are in our lives and how they affect us. So instead of getting angry and reacting negatively instantly when something happens in our life that upsets us, diffusion helps us to kind of recognize our thoughts and gives us space. So it kind of gives us that time before we react. So it helps us to decrease the attachment we have to our thoughts or events that are happening in our lives. And maybe how we see those events and what they mean to us. So I want you to think of the word cheating. And as you think of this word, consider all the thoughts you have when you just say this word. What emotion comes up in your body? How do you feel? What thoughts do you have? Now I want you to repeat the word cheating 50 times repeatedly as fast as you can. I will say stop, and if you're not quite at 50, that's okay, and if you're a little bit over, that's okay as well. Just keep going until I say stop. Ready, set, go. And stop. Now after repeating cheating 50 or so times in a row, how have your thoughts changed? When you say the word again, cheating, or hear it, cheating, do the same emotions or thoughts come up in your body? Do you have the same thoughts in your mind? Find yourself interacting differently with the word now than you did just a few minutes ago? Does the word even sound like the same word after repeating it so many times so quickly? Are you able to kind of create some space between that word and the thoughts that you have or the emotions that come up for it? Does the word become just a word rather than something with all these emotions and thoughts tied to it? How does repeating that word so many times change how you interact with it? Now I want you to think about this. Do you ever find yourself trying to avoid unpleasant thoughts? Maybe you're trying to push them out of your mind, get rid of them, suppress them, try not to think of them over and over again. But every time they come back? So what if I told you there was another way to experience these thoughts without having to try to keep pushing them away? Rather than pushing them out, what if I told you that accepting those thoughts would actually make those thoughts a little bit easier to handle? You have maybe a negative thought or an unpleasant thought that comes into your mind. Accepting it, acknowledging it, keep moving forward rather than trying to suppress it or avoid it, because oftentimes it just keeps coming back. Just like right now, if I told you, don't think about going and getting a snack. Don't think about how good it would taste, maybe how crunchy those chips would be, or how delicious that chocolate cake would be. Don't think about how hungry you are. Just do not, whatever you do not think about a snack and eating right now. The more I talk about it, the more you probably are thinking about it. And if I tell you to stop thinking about it, do not think about the snack. Do not think about that chocolate cake with that gooey frosting and that rich middle that's so decadent. The more I tell you not to think about it, often the more you think about it. So I want you to do this for me. So first I want you to think of a time when you emotionally or physically cheated on a partner. And on the scale below, the little thermometer stick below, I want you to think about where your line would fall if you marked the level of discomfort you had thinking about that experience or that moment that it happened, that you cheated, that you found yourself kind of straying away from your partner. How would you feel in that moment? Now I want you to take a few deep breaths. And I just want you to sit with that thought for a minute. Just let it be. Just let it sit there without trying to change it or avoid it. Ready for 1 minute, go. Now after sitting with that thought, now I want you to mark your level of discomfort on the second thermometer about where it would be compared to the first. How does it compare? Has the discomfort gone down when you're able to just accept versus trying to avoid or suppress? As we discussed a little bit previously, values are a chosen life direction. So they're different from goals in that they can never be attained, but they're something that you're always working towards. So values are things that are important to you. So how do you work towards the things that are important to you in your life? Do you ever find things that get in the way of moving towards these important things in your life? Things maybe in your relationship that you value but are maybe you're moving away from, that you don't think about or work towards? How does emotionally or physically cheating on a partner affect the path of your values? Does it lead you towards the things that are important to you about that person in the relationship, or away from those things? How can you encounter maybe those obstacles or those difficult thoughts that maybe try to stop you in your valued path and keep moving forward with them and keep moving north rather than letting them head you towards back south, away from your values? You can think about your values as a bullseye. So when you're working towards your values and the things that are important to you, maybe in your relationship, if you're really working on those and you're being diligent, working and thinking about those values, maybe you're heading towards that bullseye, right in the middle. And sometimes we're maybe going outside the bullseye. We're kind of aimlessly throwing and not moving towards our values or hitting our target. What are the things that kind of get in the way of you being able to move towards those values? So now that you have an idea of what values are, heading towards them is the hardest part. But there's something called committed action that we're going to discuss that helps you be able to follow through with the things that you're going to say you're going to do today. Often we say we're going to do something, but we start tomorrow. We're going to start next week. But committed action is about starting right now in this moment when you say you're going to do something. So committed action is sticking with the things you have told yourself you're going to do. It brings together all these different components and things that we've talked about and helps you to set goals towards the things that are important to you, to work on these different parts of being in the present moment, of accepting the thoughts, of diffusing and giving yourself space, of working towards those values. Commitment action gives you a way to set goals for yourself that are rooted in your values, to help you identify ways that you can work on your life or maybe your relationship or the things that are important to you in a meaningful way. Okay, that completes this portion of it. So please click on the following link on this slide and it will direct you back to a questionnaire for you to fill out, and then you will be done. Thank you for your time.